Namaste and hello. This is your Sanskrit instructor welcoming you back into lesson 102. In the previous lessons, we went over the imperfect tense, and now I want to introduce a new verb to you. And that verb is kri, which means to do. Now, when you're learning another language, usually these types of verbs are introduced to you a lot earlier. To do because it's used so often in languages. But now at this point, it's going to be introduced to you. So at this point, it's being introduced to you because it's not part of the first conjugation, the fourth, or the sixth or the 10th. It belongs to the eighth conjugation. And the eighth conjugation isn't really a conjugation that is going to be touched upon at a beginner's high school or college level of Sanskrit. So this is the only verb that would be introduced to you in the eighth conjugation, and this is kri, to do. So we don't have to worry for now about the steps of the eighth conjugation, what you need to do, how to form the verbal base. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to provide the conjugation in the present tense and in the imperfect tense for you, and you can just refer back to the table so it could help you make more complex sentences as we go along through the course. So owing to its frequent occurrence, its conjugation could be learned from the start, even though we aren't really going into detail about the eighth conjugation. So we have the present tense and we have the imperfect tense. So the present tense, first person singular, would be more of I do. And then first person singular in the imperfect tense, remember this is past tense, so this would be more like I did. Okay? Just as a reminder as to the difference between the present tense and the imperfect tense, which in other words, past tense. So third person singular, we start out with karoti, kurutaha, and kuravanti. So that's third person singular, dual, and plural. He, she, or it does. The two of them do. We all do. Second person, singular, dual, and plural for present tense. Karoshi, kurutaha, and kuruta. So you do, the two of you do, you all do. First person, singular, dual, and plural. You have karomi, kurvaha, and kurmaha. Notice that this is an u and not a ri from kri. There is a rule in the eighth conjugation that turns that into an u. So that's the present tense. So that is I do, the two of us do, we all do. Now for imperfect or past tense, we have third person, singular, dual, and plural. We have akarot, akurutam, and akuruvan. We have akarohu, akurutam, and akurut. We have first person, singular, dual, and plural. Akaravam, akuravaha, and akurava. Sorry, there's no visarg here. There's no visarg there. So that first person dual is akurava, and then akurama, first person plural. Now, although you guys don't know how to, you're not given the instructions on how to form the verbal base for kri, which means to do, you can still tell that this verb is in parasmaipada, parasmaipada, parasmaipadi, And you still know that this is in the active voice. Why? Because you still have your ti, taha, and anti for the present tense. You still have that. You still have your, and especially for the imperfect tense, you can identify that this is in parasmaipadi, in the active voice, because you can see your termination endings. Your termination endings for the imperfect, for parasmaipadi, or for the active. You have the ta here, you have the tam, you have the un, you have the visarg here, you have tam, and then you have ta. Then you have you have the va, and then you have the ma here. So you can tell that this is in parasmaipadi. So you can use that as help for you to understand the conjugation of kri in the imperfect tense. Other than that, you always have the table to refer to, so you can make your sentences. This is something I would put in the notebook as a special verb, especially because we use it so often. And this is your Sanskrit instructor signing off with a namaste.